Welcome to NFL Picks Week 11. Everybody did pretty good last week. Check our ticker down low to see the leaderboard and the changes. We have to add up and do the calculations and the gazintas and the deciphering a little bit later. But in the NFL last week, man, what are some of the games that stood out to you?
Straight out the box. Carolina? Really? Really? New Orleans over Carolina. I'm sitting there all excited. Carolina's won a few games, thinking they're going to take care of business, and they lose to New Orleans. Same old crap. I'm like, man, you got to be kidding me. Definitely surprised by Miami over Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Kudos to Winnock because he said he thought Buffalo would have a letdown. I was like, you crazy. And they did. So he
Yeah.
was right about that. Kudos to Winnock on that. The also, what was it, Jacksonville, Houston game?
I thought Jacksonville had it. I thought they had it.
Oh,
I thought they
wow.
had it.
And it's really sad because just the week earlier, right? We watched Jacksonville over the Raiders.
Didn't tell us a thing because anybody could beat the Raiders. Didn't tell us what.
Right, right. But we're thinking, but and last but not least, New England, man. New England is, I think they're for real. And when I mean for real, I'm not saying they win the Super Bowl, but I like the way that they have progressed under Mike Vrabel. They play hard-nosed football and they go to Tampa and grab that victory the way that they did. It wasn't pretty at all.
Yeah.
They had a lot of people that were injured and out and struggling, but the way they went down there and took out Tampa, very impressive for a team that's a franchise that's growing as well. And I'm gonna say this and probably run out the room after this. Seattle's for real, bro. They
Yeah,
look
I
very,
think they are
very
too.
yeah.
I think they are
Seattle's
too. But I did not
yes.
pick them this week. I did not pick them this week. I think they're for real, but I'm gonna say this in my most hood language. I think the Rams are for realer. I think the Rams are better. So we'll discuss that as we go through these picks, man. All right. So let's start off with the New York Jets, who look pretty good against Cleveland. It's the Cleveland Clowns against New England. And everybody is going with New England. New England is the top team in that division. Buffalo doesn't want it, so New England might as well take it. Your thoughts on, I know you talked about New England a little bit earlier. Why do you think they're
Yeah,
real?
yeah, it's just the way they go about it, right? Vrabel puts in almost like a mindset, right? For instance, the Patriots that lost, I think it was the running back was Stevenson, right? The younger guy that was got hurt and he wasn't able to play. Then you come in there and you put in Travion Henderson, right? Former Buckeye, comes in and starts running crazy. And it's like whatever they're missing, next man up, next man up. And I think that's going to be a problem for the Jets because once New England starts to move and they get that energy on both sides of the ball, it's contagious. They start celebrating and the defense is running to the end zone and they just go, we can't be beaten. I think that's going to be a major problem, unfortunately, for the Jets, who I like as well.
All right. Next game on tap is Washington. The Commanders up against the Miami Dolphins. Pop is going with Washington. Me, Southside Al, Dread, you, Baller, and Drake, we're all going for Miami. Yinzerman is going for Washington as well as Windhawk. I saw what Miami did. It's a division rival, and I'm not really sold on them, but Washington's so banged up. And I don't know if Daniel's going to get back. They say he's going to come back later this season, but I like Mariota. I always like Mariota, but I don't know if he can handle Miami at home. So that's why I'm going with Miami. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and I agree with you there. With Washington being banged up, one of the things we saw with Washington, they were unable to stop their previous opponent,
Yes.
right? And what Miami was able to do in their previous game against Buffalo, they were able to run the ball. I'm sorry, the running back was running crazy, and I think the same thing's going to happen in this game. And when you don't have a quarterback, your starting quarterback, to combat those efforts with offense, I think it's going to be a very similar game as Washington lost earlier last week.
All right. Next game on top is Carolina at Atlanta. Just when you're starting to like Carolina, they pulled in Atlanta last week. So everybody's going with Atlanta except Baller and Yinzer Mama, and Atlanta's at home. Atlanta could have won that game last week, but they just fell short. What are your thoughts about Carolina and Atlanta?
Now, this is the game that's gonna piss me off because I'm mad because chose Carolina last week. I'm jumping off of them when I'm jumping out on Atlanta,
And watch
and
they
they'll win
come
this
out to
game.
play.
Yes, well, that makes sense, at. But I'm still going with them, so I'm going with Atlanta at home, thinking, oh, they're gonna be right, and I don't know what's going on with Penix. I just don't know. I hope he gets it, turns it around. But let it be known that the wide receiver who should be a tight end, as I think is Drake London,
Hmm.
is the real deal.
Yeah.
So all you gotta do is just throw him the ball and let the running back Robinson, who's wow, he's amazing too. They have a lot of potential. But regardless of the fact, I chose Atlanta because they're home.
Now let me think and see if I can remember. You got London on your fantasy football team, don't you?
No, I had him when he first came out, not this year. Not
Okay,
this
okay,
year.
okay, okay,
When he was a rookie, I had him.
okay.
I chose him and he was amazing and he's still being amazing ever since.
All right. Next game on tap is Tampa Bay at Buffalo. I was watching that game yesterday, and it seemed like that team figured out Tampa Bay yesterday because Tampa Bay couldn't get off like they wanted to. Pop is picking Buffalo, so am I. Southside Al is going with Tampa Bay. You got Dredd and Windhawk going with Buffalo. Ice and Baller going with Buffalo. Drake going with Buffalo, and Yinzer Mama, who is slowly trying to catch up, going with Tampa Bay. Why are you picking Buffalo other than Tampa Bay? Because Tampa Bay, we've seen all year, has played tough, but Buffalo did not look good against Miami. Maybe it's just a divisional game where they know each other a little bit more. I didn't think Tampa Bay is ready for Buffalo and ready for prime time. I said that before when they played a team and they beat them. Why Buffalo this game?
Two reasons. One of them you just said is the factor that one, Buffalo played against a team against Miami we thought they should win, the conference foe. And I think that they were somewhat embarrassed by that effort, which means to come back now against Tampa Bay, they're going to show the world what they think they can do. This is who we really are. And they're at home. So we don't know what the weather's going to be like out there too. So I think Buffalo is going to come with certain attitude. In fact, when you listen to the quarterback, he says that was on me. I got to be better, which means he's going to give a hell of an effort, and they're going to try to put Tampa Bay in the ground. So I think they have the upper hand, and that's why I chose Buffalo.
All right. Next game on tap is Chicago at Minnesota. Me and Pop are going with the home team, Minnesota. Southside Al, of course, Southside Chicago going with Chicago. You got Dre going with Minnesota. You got Windhawk going with Chicago. You're going with Minnesota. Baller's going with Chicago as well as Ginger Mama. And Drake is going, he lives in Chicago. He's a Chicago guy, but he's going with Minnesota. I can't see Chicago keep coming from behind. It's like they play 2 or 3 quarters and they try to come back in the fourth quarter. That's not going to work every week. And you called a team with New York who couldn't coach his way out of a paper bag and win in the fourth quarter. So I think that runs out this week. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Chicago has been pulling out magic tricks last couple of weeks, which is, hey,
They
take
do it.
nothing
They do
from
it.
them.
Yeah.
They're able to do it, and it's fine. But I think that the issue is here is McCarthy's back, right? And he's really their quarterback. And Jefferson is due to have another game. And they just start to kind of move forward and they can score a lot of points. We've seen that. We saw in the game overseas and we saw a lot of different things when they played overseas. But I think they will have too much momentum in this situation, which is why they'll win. And question is, who is Chicago? When they're at home, if this game was in Chicago, I probably would have selected Chicago.
Me too.
But it's in Minnesota, and you asking a lot for $2. Anyway, one of our favorite lines.
Held in his feet.
Yeah, that's a lot for $2 for them to be that consistent. So I chose Minnesota.
All right. Next game on tap is Green Bay at the New York Giants. Everybody's going with Green Bay at this particular time. They just fired their coach. And Green Bay, this is a get back game. They can get back and really do something in that division. So we don't even really have to talk about them. We talked about them last week. Next game on tap is Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Now, if there's ever a game where you could just throw the ball for 400 yards, Aaron Rodgers, this is the game. If you can't beat Cincinnati's defense, please Please stop talking about bringing him back for another year. So you have I think you're going with Pittsburgh. Baller's going with Pittsburgh. Yins and Mama and Drake, me and Pop, and Southside Al going with Pittsburgh. You have Dredd and Winterhawk going with Cincinnati. Your thoughts on this game?
I was this close to picking Cincinnati. This close.
Mm.
And I'm gonna tell you why I didn't pick them this time. Simply because of the factor that that was one hell of a game the first time they met, and the way that the Bengals won the game in that game, their first game of the season, their matchup. I don't think it's possible for Cincinnati to repeat what they did twice. Joe Flacco was amazing. He was hurt. He's gonna really be hurt this game. The way the way that Pittsburgh got embarrassed by the Chargers, that defense is coming all out, and I just don't see the Bengals being able to catch up. One, because you embarrassed them on the road. They're going to be home. It's a lot of get back. There's pride involved, and the Bengals are kind of hoping that they can win a game like this because I heard there's the rumblings of that Burrows was at practice
Yeah, he's at
today,
practice today. Yeah.
and so he's taking some snaps, and if they win a few games, he might come back, but. No, unfortunately, he needs to stay on the sideline because I think they're going to take this L. And that's going to be like, you need to stay right where you at. I'm glad you're back and moving around a little bit, but there's no reason for you to come back because I think Pittsburgh is going to have a revenge factor on the head from the standpoint of also rumblings about is will Pittsburgh fire the coach? Is they're going to Tomlin on his way out? So this is a must win for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Yinzer Mama made a great comment in our group chat that the Rooney's aren't going to fire him. And then Winhawk made an interesting comment too. Is like maybe they'll give him a package deal, to kind of make it look like he's stepping down. I don't know, but something has to change in Pittsburgh because this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, and they're looking really sad. And I can't see the Pittsburgh Steelers fans really kind of supporting this team any longer and just getting to maybe the first round of playoffs and then taking a nosedive again. They're looking for Super Bowls. That's the standard. That's what you told us the standard was, Mike Tomlin, but you haven't been living up to the standard as of late. Next game on tap is the Los Angeles Chargers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Just when people were jumping on the Jaguars bandwagon after they had that triumphant win against the Las Vegas Raiders, everybody's going with the Chargers this week. Everybody's going with the Chargers. How do you lose a game against the Houston Texans like that when you were clearly it has to be coaching. When teams lose like that, when you're in control of the game and all of a sudden you just lose control of the game, I don't blame the players most of the time. I blame the coaches and not putting the players in position to close the show. And so, yeah, a lot of this, just like we said with the Giants earlier, that's what I said with the Giants earlier, but 4 or 5 games, you can't close the show. It's the coaching. It ain't the players. You got to put the players in position to do that, and you're not doing that. So everybody's going with the Chargers in this game. We don't even need to talk about it. Next game on tap is the Seattle Seahawks against the Los Angeles Rams. I do believe the Seattle Seahawks are for real. I do believe they're for real. So Southside Al, Dread, Windhawk, Ice, Drake, and Wizard Mama are picking Seattle. They think they're for real. I think the Rams are for real. So me, Pop, and Baller are going with the Los Angeles Rams at home. Your thoughts on this game?
This is very difficult because I like the Rams. I do like the Rams. I watched them, but I also watched Seattle. The Rams let me down in the first game of the season when they
Mm-hmm.
lost to San Francisco.
Yeah.
They came back and made it right, but Seattle was playing with a chip on his shoulder, and we just don't know the consistency of the Rams from the standpoint of when you get out, when you can attack the quarterback and you chase after him, he starts to look a certain kind of way, get that look in his eye like he don't want to be here anymore. And we keep coming off the ground like that, which I think Seattle's going to do. They're going to come at him. And now you also have a quarterback over in Seattle that is doing just enough, right? You have the weapons, Smith and Jinkma over there doing this thing. They're playing very high level football right now. The question is, can the Rams be consistent enough to win this game? Answer is yes. Will they? I don't think so. I think Seattle's like, we're gonna show y'all who the best team is over here right now. We're gonna show y'all, and what better way than to take down the Rams? You beat the Rams. Who else is there over in the NFC? Who else?
This is the game I want to watch. This is the game I want to watch because these two teams are really good and they've been showing it for all season. Next game on tap, everybody's going for this team. It's San Francisco at Arizona, and everybody's going with San Francisco. What I like to say about Brissett, he reminds me of remember Fitzpatrick. He's gonna give you like 2 or 3 good games, and then everybody's talking about okay, you're gonna sit the little man down. Brissett's our guy, and I'm like, not so fast, my friend, as the old football coach would say. Not so fast because Brissett's going to give you a few games. He's good in the short term, but long term, I can't go with him. And everybody's going with San Francisco in this game. Your thoughts about this game?
No, I understand that, but I watched Brissett and I watched the way that they were manhandled literally last week. And I don't know it's all Brissett. There was not a lot of protection back there. He didn't have time to move around the pocket. When not, it was barely room for it to make a three-step drop, let alone a five-step drop, right? So
Yeah.
when you're running for your life, I mean, unless you've ever played quarterback, you've been back there and you start hearing steps, start seeing ghosts because you've been down too many times, it's hard. So I think that's going to be the issue. I think he's giving all the best that he can, Brissett that is. But sometimes when you're playing with it versus an opponent that is just a little bit more talented and overbearing as well,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be this week, it's going to be too much to ask. I don't care who you bring back. You bring Joe Montana back there. If he running for his life, he going down.
Yeah. Yeah. Next game on tap is Baltimore at the Cleveland Clowns, and everybody's going with Baltimore. Baltimore is making that run to try to get back in the playoffs and get into a respectable place in the standings in that division. And so everybody's going with Baltimore that particular game. This is a game that I was surprised a lot of people picked Denver, but it's Kansas City at Denver. And even though I think Denver is really good, I don't think they're ready to take that division. And I think Kansas City wants the division. They got some pride to play with. They want the division. So Pop is going with Denver, along with Southside Al, Dredd, Baller, Drake, and Yinzer Mama. So it's me, Windhawk, and you going with Kansas City.
And I understand Denver at home is very tough. It's probably going to be snowing, all that other stuff. But as they said, as a lady used to say on another 48 hours, there come a time when a man need to be a man. And so that's being said. Kansas City, when it comes to big games, this is a big game. And we know Mahomes does. What Denver has done lately, they've been finding ways to make games play very ugly early on.
Mm-hmm.
And then they run to the finish line like on Monopoly Go and try to win that lap at the last minute, right? You don't have to worry about it this time. This
Yeah.
time, I think Kansas City's going to be so far ahead, as they say in the neighborhood, ain't no coming back. Not,
Yeah.
there is not. There ain't no coming back.
Yeah,
So,
we played at Monopoly Go. We it didn't work for us the last time. We
you know what? You can't win them all. You do your best to put it out there, leave your effort out there. Can't win them all. We all can't be champions every year. But no, getting by Kansas City, I just think that they are. This is the type of game that they need to show they're capable. And if Denver's ready, they'll step up and we'll see it. I don't think they are. I think they having good efforts, kind of like Chicago, running to the finish line at the end. But sometimes you can't fall behind.
right.
And if you fall behind with all of the receivers pretty much healthy for Kansas City, this is a perfect game for Kelsey to have a hell of a game. Also, to everybody the offense to get functional, and their defense does just enough to secure the victory. So that's why I'm picking Kansas City.
All right. Next game on tap is Detroit at Philadelphia. This is going to be a game. This is going to be a game. And so me and Pop going with Detroit. You have Southside Al and Dread, along with Windhawk, Ice, and Baller going with Philadelphia with Yinzer Mama. She's going with Philadelphia too. Drake is going with Detroit also. So it's 3 of us going with Detroit. The rest of you guys going with Philly. I just see Detroit in their last game. It's looked like they're hitting their stride. They look like, hey, we want to finish off the second part of the season with a bang. And I don't know if I'll bet on them during the Thanksgiving game, but I'm betting on them this game.
And I understand that. My problem with this is the factor that they're on the road and they lack consistency for me.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at them and I was like, hey, no, they're ready. And then you turn around, you're like, how did that happen? And they're not the same team. And I know people don't want to hear this because I like the way that Campbell's doing his thing. In fact, you notice from the standpoint, he took over the play calling duties. And they scored 44 points because maybe he was tired of seeing what he was seeing on the sideline wasn't good enough. And that's great. But they are not the same team that they were, in my opinion, Detroit,
Last year.
particularly after the head coach that said Chicago left. They're just not the same team. And I think he had a lot to do with that. I think collectively as a unit, a coaching unit, that's what made them really good last year. And now you're playing against Philadelphia, the defending champions that have been up and down sometimes off the year. But when they're on, they're on. And what better way than to expose Detroit, who've been exposed by a few teams this year, at home on national TV. So I think that's why I chose Philly.
Yeah, let's go, Lions. Last game on tap is Dallas at the Las Vegas Raiders. Everybody's going with Dallas except
Windhawk.
So Pop was even kind of wavering on this one. So I guess I'll take Dallas. And that's his team. But he was like, I guess I'll take him. But it was with no confidence whatsoever because these two teams are a mess. These two teams are really a mess. And Dallas is going to Las Vegas. So it's no telling what they're going to get into while they're in Las Vegas and how they're going to play the night of the game. So
Pop chose Dallas?
Huh?
Pop chose Dallas?
Pop chose Dallas. I was surprised, but he knows how big of a mess Las Vegas is, but you never know in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and I don't know what they're going to do the night before or days ahead, but I'd be sending up people to their room if I was the Las Vegas Raiders at the Dallas Cowboys to get them all tired out, no strength in the legs, so I can steal this one from the Cowboys.
Well, I'll say this. I watched the Raiders versus Jacksonville. And we watched that game when they had opportunity to tie the game or go for the win. And based on what they've done all year, tie the game, go to OT. When I saw the quarterback put his hands up for two, this game is over right now. Before he even take the ball, it's over.
But the last game, when they wanted to kick a field goal, I'm like, oh, now you want to kick a field goal. I was yelling in the house. Now you want to kick a field goal.
I watched them. I think that Dallas was embarrassed by the way they got spanked by Denver, right? And I think that this is a game where they're going to try to turn it around. They're not turning it around. They're just going to have a game where they can just do what the hell they want to. Dak Prescott is going to probably be on MVP level with the numbers, and everybody's going to have a good game, feel good. But at the end of the day, it's just Las Vegas. So with that being said, I have not seen Las Vegas all year long show me anything. And then you trade your wide receiver, your best wide receiver, send him on his way, and now you're going to come back around and beat Dallas? Nah.
If Dallas loses against the Raiders, because every time I see him to pick Dallas, I find myself rooting for him to win, and I ain't rooting for him to win no more. I picked him this time, but I wouldn't be surprised. And Dallas, if you lose against the Raiders, oh my goodness, if you lose against the Raiders.
Well, this time I don't think you got to worry about that. I heard your wine and cheese efforts versus Denver, but that was already a wrap because of the way Denver played football. This situation here is it's a 2-year ride. It may not make 2 years. It's really a 1-year ride of everybody coming together and trying to put all hands on deck, and nobody showed up. Cowboys lose this game, Jerry Jones might want to think something crazy because there's no way they should lose this game. Not the way that the Raiders have played all year long.
Those are our picks. Check us out on the squad on Facebook. We'll catch you next week for week 12.